DCC release 1.6, several improvements were introduced on the dashboard side. Let's look at a few of them. As a demonstration or data source, we'll work with a production line assembling batteries. It consists of two robots preparing two parts of the battery and an assembling unit putting it together. Ideally, everything should run at ideal pace, but in reality, several things can go wrong in such a factory. Robots and conveyor belts can stop and parts get stuck. What we'll demonstrate is a dashboard that illustrates the factory status based on data from PLCs in the installation, which is presented as OPC-UA, collected by a Secomea site manager and sent to the Secomea DCC. Let's log in. Here we have a Secomea site manager, and here we can see the collected raw data, for instance, total produced numbers, failures, status of the robot machines, etc. We can also see it here in real time what's going on. But the data is not very user-friendly to look at, and this is why we present it in a dashboard. Here we have a real-time view of the factory. The illustration in the background is static, and instead the status is depicted by symbols, such as the two robots and conveyor belts. On the left we have the so-called real-time OEE view of the current batch. The event browser on the right shows the events in this batch. You'll notice that the belts are momentarily stopping and starting, and here we can see the shortage of raw material feeding the robots will have an effect on the total OEE. Now what's missing on this one is the simple widget for the assembly unit here in the middle. So let's add that. We go into edit mode. We go to our menu. Then we select the simple widget. Then on the site manager here, we choose the data which should be subject for our assembly visualization. There we could do a little bit of styling. Just make a transparent background so it looks like the other widgets. Then we can go into settings, and then we import an image which represents our assembly unit. Now we can add triggers for different states of the assembly unit. So we make one here, which we say is assembly in progress. Then we import the same image. Could be a different image. In this case we use the same, and then we just colorize it. And we select the green color indicating it's in progress. And then we select the sample point and the value it should have for being in progress. So now we have the image when it's working satisfactory. Then we add another one which we call assembly idle, what's not doing anything. Again, we import the same image in our case here, and then we make a colorization of it. Let's pick a neutral color, because when it's idle it's not really defect in any case. And then we select status assembly and the value when it's idle. You have to know, of course, these values from your data points. Then we apply this, and we have the widget down here, and we can move it up in the right spot or change the dimensions a little bit. So we'll move it up towards this one. We can see that it's already changed color. Now it's in idle mode. And when we have units that should be assembled, we will see that it turns into progress. Typically, OEE is an expression for historical data, and we can quite easily convert the dashboard to show historical OEE data. We can select here the batch selector and go into the settings and change this from showing real time to time intervals, like this. Now, instead of having just the running batch, we can actually select a batch, and then we can see the historical value for that specific batch. We can also export data on demand for further processing externally. We have here on the right a widget called a report generator, and here I can select a time interval. Let's take the last 24 hours, and then I define that it should be sent to my email. When I click generate, it says report request is put in the queue because it could take a long time to actually generate the report. Now, it didn't take that much time, but it gets a notification first that the report is in queue, and then finally we get the ready report, which I can download. It's in a CSV format, which I can extract from the zip archive here, and then I can open that in an appropriate program. Could be Excel, and there I have all my sample values. The possibilities are numerous, and it's just a matter of creativity.